Claire, today is the last day of campaigning, which means this giant reality show of an election is over. This has been historic on many levels, especially after Citizens United, all of this money being thrown around through super PACs, donors, all this kind of stuff. Also today, Sheldon Adelson, who is the owner of the Las Vegas Sands casino empire, an outspoken Republican. Oh, by the way, Sheldon has given about $37 million this cycle, from Newt Gingrich to super PACs supporting Mitt Romney. Of course, there's also a ton of congressional and governor races he's giving to. So he wrote an op-ed today in the Wall Street Journal saying why I left the Democratic Party. And he was basically saying, he laid down his things are, support of Israel, huge backer, has given hundreds of millions of dollars to causes for Jewish life, causes for his culture.
He went to Israel with Mitt Romney, right? Yeah. He was part of that delegation.
Yeah, so he's a huge Israeli hawk. And he said that the Democrats don't support Israel, Republicans do. He said Democrats are not as philanthropic as Republicans, and that's kind of why he outlined the story. But he gets a lot of the pressure on the right, but it's not just the right that's given this election.
Well, it's mostly the right that's given. In terms of members of the Forbes 400 rich list and other super rich, I've counted so far at least 42, if I'm going through trawling the FEC filings correctly, 42 members of the Forbes 400, so more than 10% of the richest people in America who have actually given, not directly to Mitt Romney, but almost. There's a super PAC called Restore Our Future, and many of the super rich have decided to donate hundreds of thousands, if not more, towards that cause. I went through the list again today and noticed that there are a few oil and gas billionaires, as you might expect, who are donating towards Romney, thinking that his policies will be more friendly to their business interests. We've got people like Harold Hamm, Trevor Reese-Jones, the real kind of Texas old school oil guys who are throwing their hat in the ring for Romney. There are, of course, some left-leaning billionaires out there, far fewer. I think the last count I did, there were 7 billionaires who had donated towards left-leaning super PACs. We had the two biggest left-wing donors on the Forbes rich list are people that you probably wouldn't have heard of. The hedge funder James Simons, he's given $2 million to the super PAC that backs Barack Obama, Priorities USA Action. Also with $2 million is Irwin Jacobs, who is the head of the chip manufacturer Qualcomm. So these are guys who are not like, Adelson in the press every day, or the Koch brothers, the kind of the right-wing billionaire boogeymen, but they're kind of quietly backing Obama in their own way. There's also Steven Spielberg, the Hollywood director. He's given far less. I think the last count I saw was $100,000. But there are people, there are billionaires out there who are backing President Obama. It's just there's not as many and they're not as vocal.
Yeah, so billionaire-wise, there's more on the right, and they're giving more
Far
as well.
more. That's right.
Larger number, and also giving a larger number.
Yeah. Well, they feel the stakes are higher.
But in terms of the money game, in terms of who's raised the most money, it's pretty close, relatively, correct?
Well,
in terms of everything from grassroots to super PACs.
It is. I mean, it's in terms of it's pretty close at this point. But in terms of what I follow, which is the disparity in billionaire giving mostly to these super PACs, it's clear that the right led that race. But in federal money, Obama's a clear leader in that.